All right, yogis, so we're gonna work into a standing split. I love this shape. I teach it a lot, and there is a lot of variety within a standing split and a lot of ways to get into it in different ways. So let's go ahead and practice a couple of different ways that you can get familiar with standing splits so that you can work them into your practice more and more. And even in the full-length class that I did for this series is going to have some standing splits in there. So we'll begin in downward facing dog. Hands are going to be on your mat, shoulder width, and then go ahead and lift your hips up. Find your way to your down dog. So for this first variation, let's just go ahead and feel out your standing split. So bring your big toes to touch. Come up onto your heel or onto the balls of your feet and find your way into a down dog that's comfortable for you. So keeping your hips nice and square here, so even facing forward, we're just going to lift the right leg and then keep lifting until you can't open your hip anymore. Now, sometimes you can and want to open your hip for a standing split, but for the most part, you're going to keep the hip square. So toes point down, stay up onto the ball of that left foot, and just see where you start to feel it. Push away from your hands, maybe start to lower the heel, and then just go ahead and lower that down. Let's try it right on the other side. So left leg reaches up, come up onto the toes, push away. One side is definitely going to be more accessible than the other. And then go ahead and come on down to your downward facing dog. So now I'm going to show you a technique with your blocks. So bring both of your blocks inside your downward facing dog here. And then from here, you're going to bring your hands onto the block, lifts you up off the floor a little bit. And then from here, in your same downward facing dog, just reach your right leg up and back. So you'll notice you have a little bit more room to give here. And then try the left leg, pushing away from those blocks. So that's standing split with blocks. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do standing split against a wall. So find a wall where you've got some space, and we're going to start in a downward facing dog against the wall. So find your regular down dog, your heels are just against the wall, hands on the mat here, and then you're going to lift your right foot and just put your toes on the mat or on the wall. Hands are nice and square, hips are square. And this is enough. You don't have to do anything else. Eventually, you're going to start to walk your hands up, or your hands closer to your feet, and walk that toe up the wall. And then come on down. So you can do that with both legs. And that one's a lot of fun if you really like to, be upside down and play around with, getting to the extreme versions of poses. So go ahead and try those two variations of your standing split, and then, eventually you can work your way into this final version. So hands are underneath your shoulders. Find your way up to your regular downward facing dog. Now from here, we're going to walk your left foot about halfway up the mat. Keep your hands on the mat in your down dog shape, and then just lift up with your right leg. So keeping your hands square, or your hips square, you might bring blocks to either side of that foot and start to open up and lift up. Now this is enough for most people. You might start to play around with what it feels like to balance in this pose, grabbing onto your calf, your ankles, or maybe just bringing the hands to the floor next to that foot. So whatever your version of standing split, it's not important that it looks exactly how it does when you look at pictures. It's more important that it feels right to you in your body. so that you're getting out of it what you're trying to get out of it. So that's basically a back body stretch. It's a little bit of a balance. It's a little bit of fun just getting upside down without getting truly upside down. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fabulous week, my yogis. Namaste.